In the world of combat sports, few names resonate as loudly as Mike Tyson and Seth Rollins. One a boxing legend with a reputation for ferocity, the other a modern wrestling icon known for his athleticism and charisma. What if these two giants, from completely different worlds, collided in the ring? The idea alone sends chills down the spine. One of the most dangerous knockout artists ever, facing off against one of the most dynamic and unpredictable figures in professional wrestling. But how would such a confrontation unfold? Would Tyson's raw power and unparalleled knockout ability reign supreme, or would Rollins' agility and technical wrestling skills be enough to defy the odds? The build-up to this showdown starts far beyond the ring. Mike Tyson, now a more grounded and reflective figure after his legendary career, has always been an enigma. His path to greatness, marked by dominance and controversy, has given him a mystique that remains unshaken by time. But despite stepping away from the sport, Tyson's name still holds the power to spark debates and ignite excitement in fans across the globe. He's made appearances in various forms of entertainment, but there's always been that lingering question: could he step back into the ring for one more fight? And against someone like Rollins, a man who thrives on challenges, this would be the ultimate test of Tyson's enduring legacy. On the other side stands Seth Rollins, a current WWE superstar with a fan base as passionate as any in the world of professional sports. Rollins has battled the best, from legends like John Jones to up-and-comers making their names in the industry. His combination of technical wrestling and high-flying moves has made him a fan favorite and a force to be reckoned with in the squared circle. But what makes this matchup intriguing is not just Rollins' skills in wrestling, but the sheer unpredictability of how he would fare against a man whose striking power could knock anyone out cold in an instant. What happens when the art of wrestling meets the brutal force of a fighter who's knocked out some of the greatest athletes in history? The tension between these two would be palpable, the audience on the edge of their seats as these contrasting worlds meet. Tyson's thunderous punches are legendary for a reason. His ferocity in the ring was unmatched during his prime, and while his years in the sport may have come and gone, there are still whispers of his potential return. Rollins, meanwhile, doesn't shy away from challenges. He's faced monsters, legends, and the fiercest competitors in the business. But Tyson, he's a different breed. This is not a man who simply steps into the ring for a match. He steps into the ring to end careers, to leave a legacy of destruction. And with Rollins known for his resilience and cunning inside the ropes, there's a question hanging in the air. Can he withstand the kind of punishment Tyson is known for? Or will his technical skill and ring IQ be the perfect answer to Tyson's brute strength? What makes this story even more captivating is the collision of eras: Tyson's thunderous 1980s dominance versus Rollins' modern flair and athleticism. Could Tyson's iconic no-holds-barred style mesh with Rollins' more calculated high-energy performance? And how would Rollins' stamina and ability to perform under pressure affect Tyson, a fighter known for his explosive burst of power, but who, with age, might not have the same endurance? Would the match turn into a battle of attrition, where Rollins' speed could wear Tyson down over time? Or would Tyson's raw power simply overwhelm the wrestling superstar, ending the match with a single devastating punch? The unpredictability of the fight makes it even more gripping. Tyson, having stepped into a different life after boxing, could have lost that razor-sharp edge that made him a feared world champion. Or perhaps it's just dormant, waiting to resurface. Rollins, on the other hand, is still at the peak of his career, always adapting, always evolving. Would his conditioning be enough to outlast Tyson, who may not have the same youthful vigor? Or would Tyson's legacy of violent knockouts become too much for Rollins to handle, leaving him with no way out of the relentless onslaught? The possibilities are endless, and as the world watches with bated breath, the clash of these two titans promises to be a spectacle unlike anything anyone has ever seen before. As the date of the fight draws closer, fans around the world are eagerly speculating. Who would take the upper hand in this epic showdown? Tyson has faced some of the greatest combat athletes in history, but he's never faced someone with Rollins' unique skill set. A man who can go from a high-flying aerial assault to grappling with precision in the blink of an eye. Rollins has faced plenty of big names, but Tyson is the kind of fighter who could take everything away with a single strike. The pressure builds. Both athletes have something to prove, Tyson wanting to show the world that his legacy still stands as a pillar of toughness and knockout ability, and Rollins eager to prove that he's the most complete fighter in the ring, capable of conquering any challenge, no matter how monstrous. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the tension couldn't be more palpable. As the countdown begins, and both men prepare in their own ways, Tyson, with his focus on rediscovering that killer instinct, Rollins continuing his journey to become the ultimate wrestling machine, the question remains, who will come out on top? Can Rollins escape the power of Tyson's fists, or will Tyson's age-old instincts prove to be too much for the wrestling world's golden boy? The answer is just around the corner, and it's one that will have the entire world on the edge of their seats, waiting to see who truly is the ultimate fighter in the squared circle. The clock is ticking, and it's time to find out. The buzz around this fight quickly spread, igniting conversations from every corner of the sports world. Fans from both boxing and wrestling communities began speculating, sharing their thoughts, and imagining how this high-stakes encounter would unfold. Tyson's legacy is etched in history, but in the years since his prime, the world has seen him transform from a feared fighter into a more reflective figure. He's gone through a remarkable personal journey, including a rise, a fall, and a rebirth. Tyson's return to the limelight, albeit outside of the ring, hasn't diminished the raw power he once possessed. While many questioned whether he could truly return to his former glory, a few knew that Tyson's spirit, his passion for combat, had never fully left him. Seth Rollins, however, remains firmly entrenched in the world of professional wrestling. His path to the top wasn't always linear. Rollins' rise was marked by resilience, ambition, and the kind of drive that only someone with his fire could possess. While his reputation as a performer and storyteller in the ring grew, so did his sense of self. He started not just to compete against others, but against his own expectations. It wasn't just about the titles and the accolades. It was about testing himself against any challenge that came his way. For Rollins, the Tyson challenge was not just an opportunity to prove his place in the wrestling world, but a test of his own will and determination. To face Tyson wasn't just to face a boxer, it was to face a living legend, someone whose name carried weight in every corner of combat sports. The stakes weren't just about pride, they were about legacy. But the drama doesn't stop there. Behind the scenes, both Tyson and Rollins are dealing with their own personal challenges. Tyson, in his older years, is struggling with his identity outside of the ring. The thunderous presence that once commanded entire arenas now seems distant, and while Tyson is a world-renowned figure, there's a part of him that wonders if he still has what it takes to make the world stop and watch. For Tyson, this fight represents not just a clash with Rollins, but a chance to remind the world and himself that he is still capable of greatness. But there's another layer to this, something even Tyson hasn't quite come to terms with. The question that haunts him isn't just whether he can win, it's whether he can still embrace the ruthless side of himself, the part of his soul that once thrived in chaos and destruction. Can he still summon that intensity, or has time dulled the edge that made him a feared champion? On the flip side, Seth Rollins is fighting his own battle. As the fight looms closer, he starts questioning whether he's been ready for this kind of test. The world of professional wrestling, while undeniably tough, doesn't compare to the brutal nature of a real knockout artist. He's faced giants, monsters, and legends, but Mike Tyson is a different breed. Rollins' confidence has always been his strength, but it's also his weakness. He's used to adapting, using his intellect and agility to outsmart opponents. But how does one outsmart a man whose sheer power is enough to decimate anything in its path? As Rollins reflects on his career, he realizes that this match might not just define him in the eyes of his fans, it could reshape everything he's worked for. There's a fear that gnaws at him, something deeper than the physical challenge. The idea that Tyson's power could break him in a way that no opponent has before. The tension builds off screen, too. Rumors swirl that some of Tyson's closest allies have been questioning his decision to return to the ring. Is he doing it for the right reasons? His team, having witnessed Tyson's struggles with his past, fears that stepping into the ring again could be more damaging than beneficial. Some wonder if Tyson's desire to prove something to the world is clouding his judgment. It's clear that for all his calm demeanor, Tyson still carries the weight of a past filled with triumphs and failures. Every punch he threw in his prime came with the pressure of proving he was the greatest. Would he be able to carry that same burden again without the same internal turmoil? Rollins, meanwhile, has a team of his own, a group of advisors and mentors, but none are as invested in this match as his own ego. His own doubts are often hidden beneath layers of bravado. In interviews, Rollins has repeatedly expressed how he thrives on challenges. But the truth is, there's a level of respect and fear for Tyson that he doesn't often show. The sheer rawness of Tyson's past, punches, each one capable of shaking the world, has kept Rollins up at night, wondering how he will handle the inevitable collision with that kind of power. He knows that, in the squared circle, everything can change in an instant, but can he change the dynamics of this fight to fit his game? Or is he destined to fall victim to Tyson's most dangerous weapon? With the fight drawing closer, more eyes are turning to the subtle dynamics in play. Tyson's past controversies, the bad boy image, his legal issues, and the moments of infamy have followed him throughout his entire career. Some wonder if that part of him will resurface during the fight, or if he's truly changed as a person. Tyson's legacy is about more than just boxing. It's about the mythos surrounding him. Will he be able to reconcile the man he used to be with the man he is now? Or will that darkness still lurk beneath the surface, ready to explode? Some fans speculate that Tyson's entrance to the ring will reveal his true feelings about this fight, whether he's doing it for the love of the sport or to satisfy a much deeper need. On the other side, Rollins is aware that no amount of preparation can fully ready him for the storm that is Mike Tyson. He spent years perfecting his craft in the WWE ring, but this is a different kind of fight. It's not about performing for an audience. It's about surviving in a situation where one punch could end it all. The psychological battle is just as important as the physical one. Rollins knows Tyson's history. He knows what Tyson is capable of. The question that haunts him, though, is whether his preparation will be enough when the fists start flying, or if Tyson's overwhelming force will leave him with no answers. With all the layers of mystery, tension, and doubt building on both sides, the clock continues to tick. Fans across the world are left asking, who will stand victorious when Tyson and Rollins finally clash? Each day that passes only raises the stakes higher, and as the event draws nearer, there's a sense that this isn't just a fight between two men. It's a battle of legacies, of personal demons, and of the rawest form of competition that exists. The only certainty is that, in the end, something will break. But who and what will that be? As the day of the fight nears, the intensity surrounding Tyson and Rollins reaches a fever pitch. But just when the world thought they had a grip on what this fight would be, a brutal clash of athleticism, raw power, and legacy, a curveball is thrown that no one could have seen coming. A video surfaces online, posted by none other than Tyson himself. In it, he speaks calmly, but with a certain intensity in his eyes. "I don't just fight to win," Tyson says. "I fight to remind myself of who I am." The words, cryptic and ominous, send shockwaves through the combat sports world. Fans and pundits alike are left speculating, what does Tyson mean by this? Is he talking about redemption? Or is there something darker, more dangerous, lurking beneath his return to the ring? The video's release ignites a firestorm. Rollins, who had been preparing tirelessly for the physical aspects of the fight, suddenly has to deal with the psychological toll this new development brings. The calm and confident Rollins, who once embraced every challenge with an open mind, is now questioning his own preparation. Tyson isn't just coming to fight. It seems as though he's coming to reclaim something far deeper than just a victory in the ring. And that, more than anything, unsettles Rollins. What happens when the fight becomes more about the demons of the past than the fight itself? When the opponents aren't just fighting for glory, but for something much more personal, something that can't be seen with the eye but is felt in every action. In the midst of the media frenzy, rumors begin to surface about Tyson's team. There are whispers that his mental state isn't as stable as it once seemed. Some close to Tyson reveal that he's been in therapy, dealing with the weight of his past, attempting to come to terms with the destruction his career has caused. Yet, there's another rumor that doesn't sit well with anyone. Tyson is still haunted by his demons, his anger, his rage, and this fight might not just be about proving his worth. It's about trying to exorcise the darkness inside him. Tyson's team has remained tight-lipped, but one thing is clear: he's not fighting just for validation. There's something much more urgent, more visceral, driving him now. Meanwhile, Rollins continues to push forward, steeling himself against the emotional tug of war Tyson's resurfaced video has sparked. But his mind isn't quiet. Every day, he watches the footage, analyzing Tyson's every word, his every movement. Rollins is no stranger to mind games. He's fought some of the best in the business, wrestled with legends, and come out on top. But there's a difference between mental warfare and psychological terror, and he's beginning to feel like he's walking a razor's edge. The fear isn't of Tyson's fists anymore. It's of Tyson's mind. What if Tyson is not just physically ready, but mentally prepared in ways that no one can comprehend? What if Tyson is tapping into a rage that Rollins has no way of preparing for? The night before the fight, something unexpected happens. A surprise press conference is called, and both Tyson and Rollins are scheduled to appear. Fans and journalists pack the room, eager to hear any last-minute words from the fighters. Tyson arrives first, his presence filling the space with an electric charge. He's calm, almost serene, but there's an underlying tension in his posture. As Rollins steps into the room, the energy shifts, the room suddenly feeling smaller, tighter, as if the walls are closing in. They lock eyes. It's not the physical confrontation that takes everyone's breath away. It's the mental one. Tyson takes the mic, and without missing a beat, he begins to speak. His words aren't directed at Rollins, but rather at himself, as if he's speaking to a mirror. I've been running from who I am for so long, I forgot why I stepped into the ring in the first place. Tomorrow, I'm not here to fight you, Seth. I'm here to fight myself. To confront the past and the man I've tried to forget. And when I do, you're just a footnote. The room goes silent. It's a chilling declaration. Tyson isn't coming for glory. He's coming for redemption, and that changes everything. Rollins, visibly shaken, steps forward. His usual confidence is replaced with an unsettling calm. He grips the microphone with intensity, his voice firm but steady. I don't care about your past, Tyson. I care about what's happening tomorrow. You want to fight yourself? Fine. But I'll be there, and I'll be waiting. I'm not afraid of your legacy. I'm not afraid of your demons. But you should be afraid of mine. Rollins' words are bold, but there's an edge of uncertainty beneath them. For the first time, Rollins realizes that this fight might not be won with speed or skill alone. It might come down to willpower, to the ability to endure the psychological maelstrom Tyson is unleashing. The tension in the room is palpable, with every word from Tyson and Rollins leaving the crowd on the edge of their seats. But just as the conference is about to end, a final twist shakes the foundation of this already unpredictable fight. Tyson's team, members who've always kept a low profile, suddenly make a shocking announcement. They reveal that Tyson has suffered an undisclosed injury during his training, a serious one that could potentially end his ability to fight. The news is like a bombshell, causing waves of confusion and disbelief. How serious is the injury? Is Tyson still going through with the fight? And if he does, how will it affect his ability to perform? As the clock winds down to the fight, the stakes have shifted. Tyson's injury casts a shadow over everything, leaving Rollins to question whether Tyson is truly vulnerable for the first time in his life, or if this is just another part of the mind games Tyson has been playing. Is Tyson physically compromised, or is this another psychological tactic to lure Rollins into a false sense of security? The questions pile up, but the one thing that remains certain is that this fight, now more than ever, is anything but predictable. The world is watching, waiting to see if Tyson can overcome his injury and his demons, or if Rollins will finally prove that no amount of legend can stand up to the force of his will. The stage is set, but the outcome remains shrouded in mystery. The night of the fight finally arrives, and the atmosphere is electric. Fans from all over the world are packed into the arena, their anticipation reaching a fever pitch. The lights dim, and the crowd erupts as the announcers hype up what's been dubbed the most highly anticipated showdown in combat sports history. On one side, Mike Tyson, a man carrying decades of history on his shoulders, enters the ring, his usual confidence replaced by a calmness that seems almost unsettling. His injury has been confirmed, his leg, severely bruised and unable to fully support him, but Tyson has insisted on continuing the fight. As the bell rings, the weight of that decision hangs heavy in the air. Will Tyson's past power still be enough to overcome his physical limitations? Or has the injury stripped him of the one thing that made him unbeatable? On the opposite side, Seth Rollins stands, poised and focused. His mind is a whirlwind, torn between his calculated preparations and the psychological war Tyson has waged on him. Tyson's words from the press conference echo in his mind, and for the first time, Rollins wonders if he's truly ready for what's about to come. The injury, the tension, the mental and physical challenges, all of it is unfolding before him. He knows Tyson can still be dangerous, but what if this fight isn't just a test of skill, but of resilience? Rollins breathes deeply, mentally readying himself for the chaos that's about to ensue. The first few minutes of the match are a tense dance. Tyson, despite his injury, is still able to land powerful punches, each one a reminder of the sheer force that made him a legend. Rollins dodges and counters, his agility on full display as he avoids Tyson's most vicious strikes. For a while, it looks as though Rollins' speed might give him the advantage, as Tyson begins to show signs of fatigue. His injury, though not visibly obvious, seems to be affecting his ability to move with his usual fluidity. Rollins presses on, his confidence growing as he sees Tyson's defenses weakening. The crowd roars with every move, every near miss. But just as Rollins begins to believe he has the upper hand, Tyson's eyes shift and something changes. It's a flicker of old fire, a deep, primal rage that burns behind his eyes. Tyson unleashes a brutal series of blows, catching Rollins off guard. The force behind each punch rattles Rollins, sending him stumbling back. For a moment, it seems like the old Tyson, the one who brought down legends, has resurfaced. His injury no longer matters. In that moment, it's clear that Tyson is not just fighting Rollins. He's fighting everything he's ever been. And Rollins, now reeling, realizes that Tyson is not just fighting for a win, he's fighting for his soul. Just as it seems Tyson is on the verge of finishing Rollins off, an unexpected twist takes the fight in a new direction. Tyson falters for a split second, a moment of hesitation so brief, yet so telling. In that brief pause, Rollins sees it. Tyson's injury has caught up with him. He's exhausted, mentally and physically, and the weight of everything the past, the redemption, the demons has taken its toll. Rollins seizes the moment, launching himself with all the strength and determination he's ever had. His moves are calculated, fast, and precise. He strikes with a fury that's almost unexpected, even to himself. The crowd erupts as Rollins delivers the final blow, a kick that lands squarely on Tyson's chest, sending him crashing to the mat. Tyson, despite all his might and all his years of dominance, cannot recover. The referee counts to 10, and the bell rings. Seth Rollins is the winner. But as the crowd cheers, the victory feels strangely bittersweet. Rollins stands over Tyson, his chest heaving, not in celebration, but in disbelief. He looks down at the man who once ruled the ring, the man who had terrified the world with his raw power, now lying defeated. It's not the triumphant moment he imagined. There's no satisfaction in this win, no sense of glory. Instead, Rollins is left with the stark reality that, in overcoming Tyson, he's come face to face with the fact that this fight was never about skill. It was about surviving Tyson's legacy, his rage, and his unyielding fight against his own demons. As Tyson slowly sits up, he looks up at Rollins, his expression unreadable. For a moment, there's an awkward silence, but then Tyson nods. It's a small gesture, but it speaks volumes. He may have lost the fight, but there's something in his eyes that suggests a sense of peace. For the first time in years, Tyson doesn't seem angry, doesn't seem broken. He seems relieved. The demons he was battling weren't just Rollins or his past. They were the parts of himself he had buried. In this defeat, Tyson finds a strange form of redemption, a release from the weight he's been carrying for decades. As Rollins stands in the center of the ring, the crowd still roaring around him, a thought lingers in his mind. He's conquered many opponents, but Tyson was never just another fighter. He was a man who lived through fire, through destruction, and somehow came out the other side. Rollins looks down at Tyson, knowing that this fight, this win, will shape him forever. The respect he now holds for Tyson runs deeper than any rivalry he's ever had. And just as the story seems to be drawing to a close, the unexpected happens. Tyson stands, a look of quiet determination on his face. He walks toward Rollins, who is still absorbing the weight of the moment. Without a word, Tyson extends his hand. The crowd goes silent. It's an unexpected gesture, one that speaks volumes about the nature of their fight. Rollins hesitates for a moment, and then, with a nod, he reaches out and shakes Tyson's hand. In that moment, the tension, the anger, the mental and physical battles, all of it dissipates. What remains is a mutual understanding between two men who have fought not just for victory, but for something much deeper than anyone could have expected. As the cameras flash and the arena erupts in applause, the true impact of the fight becomes clear. Tyson's battle with himself was more significant than the one he fought against Rollins. Rollins, now standing shoulder to shoulder with a legend, has earned more than just a win. He's earned the respect of a man who was once untouchable. The fight may have ended, but the story of redemption, of overcoming the past, will echo in the minds of fans for years to come. In the end, this wasn't just a battle for dominance, it was a battle for peace. And both men walked away with a victory, but not in the way anyone expected.